On today's show, we've got highlights from the men's and women's basketball teams, and we get to know some student athletes and coaches. So don't go anywhere because the LTU Sports Report starts right now. What's up, Blue Devil fans? I'm your host, Candace. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the LTU Sports Report. This show is presented by Lawrence Technological University and sponsored by Henry Ford Sports Medicine. Coming up first, we have highlights from the men's basketball team as the Blue Devils took on the Eagles from Judson in their first home game of the season. Let's check out how they did.
We're here inside the Don Riddler Fieldhouse as the Lawrence Tech men's basketball team takes on the Eagles of Judson for the first home basketball game of the season. The Blue Devils handled business in their season opener at Goshen. Leadership has been a big factor in the early success for the Blue Devils, and a last-minute game change. Lawrence Tech looks to refocus and get the win. Starting in the first half, here's sophomore Gunnar Gustafson, who squares up his defender, drives, and hammers the ball down for 2 points. LTU leads early in the first half. Later on in the half, LTU has maintained control of the game, and here's Ohio native Brandon Beavers, who drives hard down the lane and finishes at the rim for the and one. Beavers would lead all scorers with 25. Lawrence Tech has a 36-30 lead going into the break. Coming back from the break, here's sharpshooter junior Carter France, who hits from downtown to extend the Blue Devil lead. Moving along in the second, Judson has clawed their way back into the game, and here's Beavers with the steal, and he launches the ball up the court to junior Isaiah Cumberland, and he slams the ball in for 2 points. Lawrence Tech would go on to win this one with a final score of 76-67.
We thought we were playing another opponent on Friday. Due to COVID, that got canceled, and Judson, it was their first game, so we didn't get an opportunity to prepare for them until this morning. They're a tough team. They're really scrappy. They play extremely hard, and we got exposed in a good way in some areas, and we can get back to practice and work on those.
Started this year and last year, we always seem to start out slow, but we always end up picking it up and getting on the game plan and executing whatever we need to do.
As they keep pushing, we got to keep pushing ourselves. So, we hold ourselves accountable. We have a lot of good leaders on this team, so, we keep everything at 100%.
We follow our scout really good for about 95% of the game, and there's just those little mental lapses that we got to get down, pace on offense, and just continuing to execute. But other than that, we're all playing really well together as a team.
Now let's hear from one of the soccer players on this Get to Know segment.
My name is Nicholas Buchanan. I'm a freshman at Lawrence Tech University, and I play men's soccer. My favorite TV show is Game of Thrones because I just really like the politics, and I'm into that medieval time period and all that kind of stuff. My favorite video game is GTA because it's just what everyone plays and it's really fun. Favorite athlete is Tiger Woods because he's really just dominant, and he just kind of represents a lot of good things in sports. Favorite animal, probably the lion, just because of its dominance over the desert and jungle. My favorite superhero is probably Captain America because I just like the way he his essence and what he demonstrates in his character. Celebrity crush, probably Scarlett Johansson. She's really hot.
The women had a very successful season this year, winning 4 out of the 7 tournaments and taking 2 out of the other 2. So let's start with what led the women to their success this year.
I think something that led to our success was definitely how hard the girls worked in the summer. I know a lot of them put a lot of hard work in, and definitely showed on the course. There are still some weaknesses that some people have, but definitely a lot more strengths than last year. Our star players were definitely our number 1 and 2, Sarah Davis and Rachel. Unfortunately, with Sarah Davis leaving, we are going to have another sophomore most likely in our top 5. So that will leave 3 sophomores and a junior and a senior in our top 5. Mainly the thing to help them grow the most will be a mental game. Playing 18 holes of golf is not something that people really understand how mentally draining that can be. and you hit one bad shot and things can spiral out of control.
And now we'll switch it on over to the men's side. And they were also extremely successful, and they also had a very young roster. The team consists of 10 underclassmen and 3 upperclassmen that are only juniors. And so although the team is very young, they managed to win 6 out of the 7 tournaments.
One of the biggest things I think that led to our success was Eddie stepping up as a leader on the team. He definitely took Bruno, Luis, and Anthony, who were in the top 5 with Eddie. He definitely took them under their wing. And our sophomore Tanner Schnell proved himself to be a very good foreman. This year we had a lot more returning guys. We did have 4 freshmen coming in this year, but last year I believe we had 6 or 7 taking the preview with only 4 of our top 5 playing because Eddie had to sit out. I see national tournament in their future.
Coming up next, we have highlights from the women's basketball game as they take on Trine University.
We're back inside the Don Riddler Fieldhouse as the Lawrence Tech women's basketball team faces the storm of Trine University. The start of the season has been anything but easy for the Blue Devils as they look to snap a 2-game skid. Can the Blue Devils protect their home court? Let's find out. Starting in the first, it would be the freshman Sierra Harris who drives hard down the lane and finishes between the 2 defenders for 2 points. LTU would trail 11-14 at the end of the first. Moving along to the second, here's the Ohio native Jade Ferris with a nice step through and finish for 2 points. The Blue Devils would trail at the break 25-24. Coming back from the break, the senior Taryn Klein finds sophomore Gabby Go after a nice cut to the basket. LTU would trail by 23 going into the fourth. And jumping ahead to the fourth quarter, here's Klein running the floor and she hits the long 2. Lawrence Tech would go on to drop this one 43-66 as the final.
Lawrence Tech is adding a new team in the mix by launching a women's hockey program. We've got an exclusive interview with the new head coach, Greg Moore.
It was recently announced that Lawrence Tech is making a push to increase athletics at the university in a number of areas. One of the first pieces of the expansion is the hiring of head coach Greg Moore for the new women's hockey team.
I was in a unique situation where I was finishing my 4-year undergrad. The women's hockey coach asked if I was willing to help him out and coach the women's hockey team while I was finishing my final semester. Ended up being a full-time gig the year after that and just kept going. I've been at 2 schools, started my career at St. Mary's University in Winona, Minnesota, and last year I was at the University of Providence in Great Falls, Montana. I started the program at Great Falls. Unfortunately, due to COVID and some other issues, they decided to discontinue the program at Great Falls. Going from a Division III model in recruiting to NAIA and ACHA was a huge step for me. Looking to take a lot of what I learned last year at Providence and bring it here to LTU.
The program would launch in the fall of 2021, so Coach Moore needs to hit the ground running to be ready in time.
First order of business is trying to get the staff together, hopefully hire an assistant coach here pretty soon to help me with some recruiting stuff. And then the next order of business is get out on the road and get in front of kids, let them know that LTU has a women's hockey team and we're open for business. So there is high school hockey in Michigan for girls. It's not as prevalent as on the guys' side, but definitely looking at the high school hockey in the state of Michigan, as well as a strong AAA and AA club scene in the state of Michigan, as well as branching into the northern parts of Illinois, the western parts of Ohio, northern parts of Indiana. Hopefully, when the borders open up again, probably into the southern parts of Ontario as well. I look for good, hardworking, honest student athletes with drive to be good students in the classroom, good members of the community, and hopefully good hockey players to help us bring success on and off the ice.
To find out more about the Lawrence Tech women's hockey team and to recruit yourself, go to l2athletics.com.
And now we're going to take a short break, but first let's hear from our sponsors over at Henry Ford Sports Medicine. Welcome back to the LTU Sports Report. Coming up next, we meet one of the football coaches and chat about their upcoming season.
Hi, I'm Brian Pryor. I am the assistant defensive line coach. I've coached extensively throughout the Detroit Public School League. I also coach here professionally. And now I'm here at Lawrence Tech in my first year. I'm looking forward to the execution of our plays and the development of our players to become a better team and to give these guys hope for this season.
LTU football is ready for kickoff. A huge push to grow the roster is on now. Scholarship opportunities are available. If you are interested in playing football at Lawrence Technological University, recruit yourself by going to the football page at ltuathletics.com.
And now let's hear from one of our golfers in another Get to Know segment.
I'm Lauren Hartline. I'm a sophomore and I play women's golf. My favorite TV show is Friends, and it's my favorite show because it's really funny and has a lot of different life lessons that are very important. My favorite superhero I think would be Thor because my sister also really likes him. My favorite place to vacation is Texas because it's really hot, but it's also really beautiful. My favorite kind of animal is a dog because they're so cute and fluffy. My celebrity crush would be Ryan Reynolds because he's really funny and cute.
The men's soccer team just finished their fall season. Let's get a recap from head coach Will Dyer.
Dylan Morello here with head coach Will Dyer, the men's soccer team. So I spoke to you over the summer about what you expected your team to accomplish during the fall. Now it's come to pass. What is your general takeaway from how the team performed this fall?
As you might remember, COVID hit us a little hard with incoming players and returning players. We lost some key leaders, so we're a very young team. We were starting some games, 5, 6 freshmen at a time. And it was exciting to see regrowth, rebuilding situation that we pretty much had in front of us. And our freshmen stepped up, filled their roles quite well.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So you're talking about the freshmen. What surprised you most from this first set of games?
What surprised me most was the chemistry on the field. Usually it takes a good year, 2 years to really build. I mean, we had some great, outstanding chemistry between our players the last 4 to 6 years. And when you're coming into a new situation, you know, from overseas, America for the first time, it's a rough transition. But this year, our American players, our international players really believed in what our culture, how our team plays, and they bought all in and they played their heart out, which was amazing to see. And that was the biggest thing I was proud of from the fall season was their growth from day one to where we ended up 5-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference. And I can't wait for the spring.
It's a great start for sure. A lot of confidence, as you mentioned. So how are you planning on keeping that momentum going into the spring, and what goals do you have for those upcoming slates?
I love the NAIA, but the 24-week rule comes into play. So right now, our players are just doing weight training twice a week, and we're trying to get them some gym time, futsal, overseen by our captains. But unfortunately, with the rules and COVID and all that, we can't get that gym time. So basically, it's an honor system we have to put on our players and trust that they're working with the ball at least once a day for a half hour to an hour, doing everything that they can. A lot of our players are already starting transition to go home because a lot of their classes are online. So Spain, as you know, is locked down again. So our players are going to have to prepare again, similar to a couple of months ago, that situation where they're dribbling inside their house. Our American players, basically, we try to find them a league, get a team together, an adult league, and get them playing at least once a week. Other than that, our plan is to start fresh again in January, start with 3 days a week training, build up to 4, build up to 5, and get ready to take on UNOH.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to broadcast those games. Looking forward to the second half of the season. I wish you guys luck and enjoy the little break we have right now. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, not a problem. It's always a pleasure getting interviewed by someone as great as you. And hopefully we'll see you on the sideline out at one of our games. Go Blue Devils.
All right.
Lawrence Technological University understands the importance of visiting a campus before enrolling in your college career. Here in 2020, LTU is offering the next best thing. 2 virtual open houses with tons of ways for you to investigate everything this nationally recognized university has to offer. Simply known as Blue Devil Days, you can explore their renowned academic programs in architecture, design, engineering, technology, science, and business. There's also an opportunity to hear about the admissions process and an overview of financial aid. You'll end the day with a student panel able to speak to current LTU students specifically about their college experience. The virtual Blue Devil Days are Saturday, November 14th and Saturday, December 12th, so be sure to RSVP today before space runs out. Just head over to upcoming.ltu.edu, click on Events and Tours, and then click on Virtual Events. The next 4 years are going to be the most important of your life. Do yourself a service and check out Lawrence Technological University.
Dylan Morello is back to take us through which teams are playing next week.
It was recently announced that the women's basketball team would pause activities and return to the court at the beginning of December, so the week ahead will consist of just the men's basketball team visiting Madonna University on Wednesday, November 18th at 7:30 p.m. All home games will be streamed on our website. You can go find the complete schedule there as well, so make sure to visit l2athletics.com.
That's our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to check us out on all social media platforms for daily updates on all things LTU. I'm your host, Candace, and I'll see you next time.